Good morning. We are on day 3 of our study about the orphan spirit, and I love that we're looking at the aspect of the spirit of poverty because it is such an intriguing aspect of the orphan spirit, and to me it is one of the most interesting parts about it because there's so many different ways that you can look at it. We're going to start out in 1 Timothy chapter 6, which says, "Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. In this way they will lay up treasure for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life." So the spirit of poverty is one of the mindsets of an orphan spirit that is accustomed to living with lack. So you're imagining the life of living as an orphan and never having anything, and so you get used to hanging on to what you have because you might need it sometime, and being unwilling to share because you might need it sometime. So imagine what it would be like to go from rags to riches, and consider how would that affect your mindset. Would you all of a sudden be able to just spend like crazy, and what would you spend it on, and who would you spend it for? In truth, the amount of money in your account does not define you. And oftentimes here in America especially, we think that that's what's most important, is how much money we have. Money does not buy happiness, and many who have riches still are not happy. We read that all the time. The truth is that you can be wealthy but have next to nothing. Why? Because being rich and being wealthy are not the same thing. You can have lots of money but still not be wealthy in your life. In your characteristics, in your emotions. You maybe wouldn't think like a wealthy person even if you are rich, or you may not. You can be poor and still think like a wealthy person because of how you treat other people and how you conduct yourself. So like, for example, let's look at Princess Kate's situation. She went from being part of the general public, and now she's known worldwide because she is part of the royal family. And what is interesting is that now she has access to all that she could want, but there's something more to it. She also has an identity that means something. There's a little bug flying around here. It means something, and there's a form of power that she now has that money cannot buy. That's what we're talking about here with the poverty spirit. In the kingdom of God, God offers the same gift to his children. So we now carry his name, and that gives us an authority that holds greater power than anything the devil can bring against us. Our enemy, the devil, does not want orphan spirits in the kingdom to know the power that they possess. He doesn't want them to know that all that they have access to. He wants them to continually live with their focus on their lack. He wants them to live with uncertainty and the fear of not enough. But God has called us to be the most generous people on the planet. Why? Because it is a reflection of his character. So don't believe the lie that you have nothing to give or that you can't afford to be generous. There is so much blessing. If you have the book, you'll read the story about my husband and how he's such a generous guy, always loves to give. And it's so much fun to go with him. We've had waitresses follow us to the parking lot with tears in their eyes, thanking us for the tip. And that's on Tim. That's something that I wouldn't have done on my own, but I'm learning from him, and I'm seeing what a blessing that is. So if God's asking you to give, because you'll never be able to outgive God. This isn't just about our finances. The poverty spirit also can affect our relationships, in that we're afraid to give more of our time to people, or what if they want more from me than I have to give? It's something with our health. We can look at our health and have the poverty spirit. So in that area, I had to think about when several years back, God began to convict me about my health. And I was challenged because I kept watching all of my friends. Some of you out there were doing a lot of running, and I thought, man, I should do that too. But I just was so convinced that I couldn't do it. I was afraid that I wouldn't have enough strength. I was afraid that I would fail. I was afraid I didn't have the time to go and run. And I'd look at my friends and I would think, well, they're better than me. I mean, they're disciplined, they're committed, they're confident, they're maybe more athletic than me, they're just more determined than me. And so I convinced myself I couldn't do it for a long time, until finally I made the commitment to go and train for a 5K. And it was so incredible to me. And it was one of the hardest things I'd done for a long time. But through the process, I got closer to my kids because they ran with me. And God showed me so much about himself, and he showed me that I'm actually stronger than I think I am. I don't give myself credit for it because I kept convincing myself that it wasn't true. But he was able to give me the strength to get through it. And in the process, I was able to get healthier and lose some weight. So that was awesome. So what area do you think that the poverty spirit most affects you? I challenge you today to just ask God to reveal to you any areas in your life that you are living in the spirit of poverty. Some of the signs and symptoms of the spirit of poverty or a poverty mindset is that a person is likely to blame others for their situation. They're prone to hoarding, unwilling to accept responsibility for a failure or anything. So just unwilling to accept responsibility for something negative in their life. They give up easily, and that's one that comes back with the health issue specifically. I thought of that we give up easily. Unwilling to sacrifice for something better, and does not consider themselves worth having more. Stop and think about that one for a while. These are all listed in the study guide right here, and it's going to be backwards because of how I'm videoing this, and that is in the All the King's Orphans 16-week study guide, which we are doing in 16 days. So we'll see you tomorrow.